discretion is advised.
Happy Monday. You are listening and or watching PWNCAST. This is episode 127. Wow, that's a lot of friggin' episodes. We are in patch 7.0.3 in Legion. Tonight we'll be talking about the latest hotfixes, which did a lot of class tuning. Mostly good, some maybe not, depending on the class. Battle.net is going all things Blizzard. We have PTR updates and much, much more, so make sure you guys stay right here.
You have crossed into the world of the dead in search of answers.
Amongst the Azeroth elite, there is a group that defies convention. A group that stands in the face of trolls and doesn't flinch. A group that strives on unity, trust, and unwavering resolve. A group that eats tacos. For the players, by the players, we bring you. She can start a revolt with a Chaos Bolt, Belle, the PWNCAST Vanguard. The wolves whose howl can signal death's coming, Lycan. Snap back and get faster for the pet battle Grandmaster, Gemma Banks. He's sharp as a dagger with that dapper swagger, Secret Sauce. We bow to no one. We are Legion. We are PWNCAST.
Well, it is that time where I have to decide if I want to unmute these guys. I guess I'm going to unmute them because they're all in a particularly good mood today. I hate them so much right now. I'm going to go ahead and unmute them.
Pineapple Pen.
No, we're not singing that song, and I'm not a Dreadlord.
What song?
Not doing it.
But
I've met you. I've seen you change.
Unfortunately, I did bring the Riders of Rohan with me. Wish I could have left them not on my computer screen. I did bring the Death Knight who's trying to tame the ever-elusive Whispering Eye, Lycan.
Ever since it is very disturbing looking at that thing when you go into raid.
It usually is. I mean, it's a lot different when it's coming at you.
It won't.
Oh.
I finally get the reference.
You finally got it. Only took us the entire intro of the show.
That's
No, it took me like
I
30 episodes.
Yeah, I've said the Whispering Eye since like Miss Pandaria.
When you wanted that staff.
I really did.
Infection.
Well,
So yeah,
That's
you've got
what she
Tales
said.
of Whispering Eye taming then.
I do got Tales of the Whispering Eye. A lot of the Whispers of Vilganoth. Very, very interesting shit coming up. So yeah, I'll probably get lots of comments about how dumb I am and how wrong I am, but that's okay.
That's
the internet for you.
That's the internet.
I've
every
never
day.
thought that.
I've thought that.
Internet
I've thought that.
Belle's thought that.
I have to.
Just
Every
kidding.
time Belle said that. Yeah, she's always said that.
No, I'm not Jaina.
I didn't say Jaina. I said
I
Belle.
hate you guys. I did
2017
also.
cosplay. Jaina Proudmore.
I did also bring the monk who's cosplaying as Baby Joker, Gemma Banks. No,
Why so
you don't
serious,
watch.
Baby Joker?
You don't watch Friday at all. You
No, but remember the Muppets? There was the Baby Muppets.
with your extracurricular activities, you don't watch Friday or next Friday.
Bye, Felicia.
Oh yeah, no, it's.
There you go. Good.
I can't get jiggy with this shit.
Well, that
I'm just
was really sad that you
awkward.
didn't get that.
Do you like my flannel though?
No, I don't. I mean, I guess Canadians are supposed to wear flannel. If anybody else is Canadian out there, I'm not trying to stereotype. I'm just saying I heard a rumor that you
You just
guys
did.
like flannel.
Right.
It was on
She
the
thought
internet.
it was a
It was
Canadian
posted on the internet.
tuxedo, but the
I did.
Canadian tuxedo is jean jacket jeans. So this is just
Ooh.
Canadian flannel.
Why do you have a flannel shirt?
Because he's hood.
Okay, so honestly-
he's Cholo.
Oh, I'm always honest, so why do I
He's
even
a
have to
Cholo-
say that?
he's a
We had
Cholo
flannel day
Canadian.
at work, and I had to Google flannel. I was in Walmart, and I actually got a checkered shirt first, and I brought it to the cashier. I'm like, this isn't flannel, is it? She's like, no. So I Googled it again, and I went back, and that's why I have this flannel shirt. Hashtag Walmart.
There you go.
Hashtag not a real Canadian.
I know, right?
I'm an Americanized Canadian. PWNCAST!
What is this a boot?
I did
What's your
also. I did. What's your postal code? I did also bring the priest who got Ebola from the Emerald Nightmare raid secret sauce.
Sure did. Actually, I left work early because I felt it already. And they called me a bunch of names, but then everyone else was sick too. So, whatever. I'm present. Raid didn't happen today, but
He's on
it's
that
fine.
lean, isn't he?
He's on that purple drink.
Purple and orange.
He's on that syrup.
on the syrup.
Well, I think I speak
got
for
Sprite in the
everybody.
fridge,
Is,
too.
right? We hope you feel better, right?
Do we?
I don't
Oh,
have
yeah,
a
we
choice.
do. Sorry. Yes, we do.
I have to go to work
We
tomorrow.
totally do. Sorry, I thought we were not hoping he feels better. Sorry.
The priest that doesn't know how to dispel.
That's false.
Looking at the raid logs, I did not see any dispels that entire raid.
Dispel yourself, damn it.
For anything. So I don't know if there's anything that was supposed to be
There's
dispelled.
nothing.
I didn't see any dispels, so
There's
that
nothing.
may or may not be a fact. So to get to some of the news, we don't have a whole lot of news on the agenda today, but we are in the middle of Brewfest. It's going till October 6th. Make sure you go get your Kodo, get your mount, get your beer. Do the things, be alcoholic. It's the one time of year when it's acceptable. So go and do...
The trinkets are really cool, too. Too bad they're only 810, but if you're leveling a tune or something like that, then they're great. I just got the healing one last night, and it'd be fantastic if it was 840, because the stats are actually really good, so...
But it's not.
It's not. But I did have it equipped.
Just use your justice
course
points to
you did.
upgrade it.
Of course you did.
I know.
Of course you did. That's just embarrassing. Now, raids did come out. When I say raids, I mean just a raid. Emerald Nightmare did come out. So, thoughts on the raid, guys? What are your thoughts?
Do you want me to start off?
Did you
Go ahead,
raid?
Gemma.
Because I don't think you
No.
raided.
Yeah, I haven't stepped in.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys cover that then?
Yeah, leave it to
Maybe
the
our
press.
raid lead.
He
It
was
was
very
fine.
grumpy for raid, so I don't even know how he was even paying
I was
attention
actually really
yesterday.
quiet because I know I was beyond irritable worse yesterday. So I know if I would have raid leaded, I probably would have kicked at least a third of those people out.
Why? They did a
And-
great job, I think. We won't go
I could
into
out-
that on
need
the
more
show.
focused
people
We won't go
with
into that on the
focused staff.
show. We won't go into
Yes.
that on the
No.
show.
Anyways, we're not
But I just think you were extra irritable and you didn't have any patience yesterday at all. So
zero. That's why I thank you, Aja, for taking lead yesterday. Fantastic job. And she had already started running it during the week, so she had her game was way higher than mine yesterday. So super appreciate it. She showed people the fights, really great mechanics on, especially Ursoc. And
Yeah.
I know that one gets harder in not mythic, in heroic. So we'll figure it out. We'll get there. But I enjoyed what I've seen so far. I like
I can't pronounce any of the raid bosses. Like
Ren Farrell. I like the fight
I
because
do
it's
too.
a pure mechanic fight, and that's basically it's
Is
kind
that
of
the spider?
Yes,
No, I don't like that one at
That's-
all.
Which
exactly.
is really cool because usually you always have your DPS checks in every fight, which you do with Ursoc.
Yes,
Ursoc, he does the cacophony or roaring cacophony, and it really starts to stack up, starts to hurt like
I
hell.
was not saying it properly in the raid. I was
Yeah.
not saying that word.
Cacophony or
I-
Everyone's
Cacophony.
laughing.
That's exactly what she said.
It was
But-
probably something worse, but yeah.
It worked out. We all knew what you were talking about.
with Elwith Renfarrell, see, I know how to say it. They had it is definitely a mechanics fight, and it's neat watching like some seasoned raiders that think they're really good, and have always claimed, "Oh, I know how to do it. I can do this. I can do that," and they just utterly fail the entire time.
From what
But it's first time into the raid. Got to give some of these guys credit. You know, it's confusing. When we went in there, we two-shotted it earlier this week. The first time it was mass confusion, but then, like I said, we had about 15 of us that really picked up on pretty quick. But it's a fun fight. You know, a lot of neat mechanics with it, a lot of different things you can do, and I personally liked it.
I
It
didn't
visually
just-
looks nice.
The
From
what?
what I understand, it visually looks nice. I don't know. I like that color for whatever reason, but from what I
Oh, the
understand,
nightmare
there's
colors?
yeah, there's less chance or there's less overall to f up. But if you do f up, it will wipe. Like right for most fights, I think there's less. If you screw up, you really screws up, but it's not
Yeah.
Well, it
too
depends on
terrible.
the ability. Like
Right.
when I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, I went to work late Wednesday. Yes, and we went back in Ren Farrell, and I died within like the first 30 seconds because I got hit with that poison, and I just spread it around, and boom, dead. You guys still killed the boss. I think I was the only one dead for the longest time.
Well, it's like Nathendra at the very first one. You want to talk about things about messing up. You get an ability called Rot. And if your ass does not get out with Rot and you decide that you're going to drop all 5 stacks right there in the middle of the raid, you will wipe the raid.
All bad.
Yeah,
I didn't dislike that one. The mechanics were fine. I mean, there was a lot going on. I'm not gonna lie, but some fights I'm good if I just get an explanation. But the more a little bit complicated mechanics, not necessarily complicated, just several steps, I have to step through it, because when Aja was giving the explanation, I didn't understand a thing she said. I literally just sat there and was like, well, I'm just going to die because I don't know what I'm doing. But then when I did die right away pretty quickly because I didn't move when he dropped down.
Yep.
But then I got to watch what people were doing, and then what she said started to click in my head, and it started to make sense on what I needed to do. So it's nice mechanic wise, because it's not just a run in and kill the things. You actually have to do stuff. So it was really nice.
And it stacks up hard. I already told him I was going to pick on one on the show, but we had a certain druid that decided to drop rot and ended up getting like 34 million friendly fire damage.
Was it Rickon?
I'm not saying. But yeah.
I like how he just assumed it was Rickon.
I was hoping he'd say
we were talking to Rickon, and I was teasing him about it. But, it's like I said, when you have 40 people, though, and they're all stacked that close and that shit drops,
it's all bad news.
We know Lycan will sell you out. The one thing I was surprised, because the guild dropped the DPS mark. I know we Belle. She was up there in the DPS. I saw maybe that's a lot of trash, but I don't know. She was up there.
Those
in
were
numbers.
all boss fights.
Yeah, way to go, Belle.
And I did feel a little bit redeemed, because here's the running joke in the guild, and the running joke with people that they hear how we talk on the show or something, and they hear somebody joke, they make the assumption that when it comes to PvE that I'm a baddie because I'm a PvPer. Right. I'm actually not. I just don't prefer PvE. I'll do it. I don't mind it. I had fun in the raid. But I prefer and have more fun doing PvE. But people make that assumption, oh, it's funny, tease me because I got impaled. That doesn't mean I'm not smart enough to...
Those were funny times, though.
Yeah, but that's just that. It's funny. It's not a reflection on my skill. Yes. It's a reflection on my dedication to raiding, really, essentially, is what I'm saying here.
It's for dedication to cast a fucking chaos bolt.
Right. If I want to do really well, I have the capability to be able to do so, because I do understand things. I do understand human talk. It's funny to me, raids are just, there's just something I do for the guild, and then that's it. Like, it's not my preference. But it was nice and redeeming to see myself up there on, in the top 10 most of the time. I think it was 8 most of the time. But
at least
nice
you weren't the
that.
lowest on the show in DPS, like Lycan, right?
No, he was second, actually, I think, right? He was second to the rogue. I'm pretty sure So Delicious was first.
He was, my bad, Lycan. You were up there, though.
As a Frosty K and as a Destruction Warlock, that's pretty good. Do we have any class changes?
We do. We're actually going to talk about that right now. Good segue into that. And there was actually some additional ones today that were reverted back, and a lot of them included Shadow, which, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't do this live anymore, so he can't correct me, but Remedies would know if those are good. Even really Secret would know that as well. But, so let's talk about these class fixes. So we know that what happens is typically Blizzard will go one of two ways with a class. Super overcharge and buff it, aka Demon Hunters. It's the new hero class. It has to come out of the gate and be amazing. It has to just pop and bam and impress everybody because it's the new thing, right? It's the new shiny. Or they underdo it. They completely undercut something with specific classes such as, or specs like Elemental Shaman, or, Destruction. I personally didn't have a lot of issues at the launch with Destruction. There was some things I didn't appreciate, but it wasn't terrible for me to be able to manage my DPS like a lot of other people complained about. I didn't really have that issue, so I wasn't like, oh God, fix me, I'm broke. But what they did is they've adjusted both sides of it. Anything that came out of the gate super overpowered got just brought back down to reality, and then those that were the underperforming classes, there was a lot of tuning. Now, what was funny is when I seen these changes, I had DM'd Celestalon, because he's the one that does this, and I said, thanks for the Destro buffs, and he's like, well, sleep well because tomorrow I'll be nerfing you again. And so my response to him was, well, I've survived worse, #Kata. So he just commented back a smiley face. So let's talk about some of these. It's going to be really difficult to talk about all of them because there were so many, but there was a Havoc change, which Bloodlet talent now deals... oh, wait, this is older. Hold on. Let me go back. This was a new one.
The Shadow ones are actually really, really good. I just read them.
Some of the Havoc ones were actually reverted. So the throw glaive damage reduced by 30%, that was actually reverted back. And the Bloodlet talent now deals 100% of initial Throwglaive damage. Now it deals 150%. So those were, and then Fell Mastery talent damage bonus to Fell Rush was reduced by 30%. So there was a tiny bit of a nerf that happened to Havoc. It doesn't seem too super duper terrible. Vengeance Mastery now provides 50% less damage reduction per point. And then some stuff about the Demon Spikes, their damage reduction was increased to 20%. Now, Frost DKs was the most notable change here outside of the Warlocks. Frost DKs got a 50% increase for Remorseless Winter. A lot of their buffs were, or a lot of their huge spells were buffed 19%, 12%, 10%, 13%. They got a nice little across the board buff, which was needed because Frost was one of the specs that was underperforming big time. Now, let me tell you before we go any further the reason they do this. So they waited for the first week of Raid to be out because this is what they use to gauge their metrics when it comes to PvE. Keep in mind, none of the stuff we're talking about right now is going to affect PvP because it's a complete different template. So what they did is they wait till you get real life data, right? You can't really do it based off beta because the metrics are different. You're just not going to get like numbers. You're going to get fluff and other things that are
Fluffy
not that.
stuff.
Right, so they waited, they see how all the classes are performing, they go to the forums, they see what people are complaining about, people that have given logical, sound arguments, supported with statistics, supported with numbers, and supported with reasons why you should or shouldn't do a thing. So thankfully, our community is super educated, and they're able to help give this kind of feedback on the forums, and because they did it in a constructive manner and all that, it allowed Blizzard to kind of tweak and tune where they needed fit. So that's the reason why all of the sudden, because a couple people were like, it's been out this long and they're barely doing it. It's not that they're barely doing it. They really can't gauge those kind of metrics until a raid anyway. They can't really you can't use a dungeon to gauge a lot of metrics because the dungeons are they're just different. It's something that you can't really use. For the Druid, there was balance changes. A lot of it was increased, some of it by 5%, some of it by 10%, which is really, really nice. Mages, Arcane got a nice little buff. Frost got a lot of buffs. Whoa.
Well, I heard they were underperforming as well. Sounded like.
Yeah, Frost Mages got a lot of buffs. Hunter, Barrage, non-survival, damage reduced by 20%. Beast Mastery, Bestial Wrath damage bonus increased by 25%. And then Survival, Flanking Strike damage increased by 62, which is it's really funny when I see random percentages, like 62 is super weird. The Monk, Mistweaver, Spinning Crane Kick, damage reduced by 25%.
That's it, right?
Well, it's a healing ability, anyways. So.
Well, yeah, no, I meant like because I saw that I didn't know if there was a new update. I wanted more, but
Holy Nova damage was reduced by 16%. There was a slew of shadow changes that happened, and it was not pretty. So those changes have since then been reverted. So we're good.
Slews are never.
We're fine.
No wonder why I was doing 100K.
It's gonna be okay. Don't
AP.
everybody freak out and get your pitchforks. They have reverted them, which is really nice. So those are a thing. The changes were made today. I don't know if those are live, but for the Rogue Assassination, some of their stuff got a nice little increase. For Outlaw, I don't really understand Outlaw, so I can't really help understand these changes. But
Outlaw is so fun.
Yeah,
Roll bones.
their stuff. That's because Outlaw's the new shiny, because they redid the spec and changed it and all that. It better be fun because they put effort into making it different. And then Subtlety, some buffs happened there. Now, one of the more exciting ones was Elemental Shamans, and here's why. Because Elemental Shamans are the destruction. Literally, we are kindred spirits, and I feel their pain. I felt their pain all through Warlords of Draenor with just feeling severely underpowered, and these poor guys that wanted to go and do the things with the big kids and felt like they couldn't and had to go in.
Well, they had to be super geared to be even beneficial.
Elementals were always super bursty, but that's it. It was just good for super burst damage. There wasn't any consistency in their damage. So lots of buffs happened from an elemental standpoint, and a small buff to restoration. Now, my very favorite set of changes was the Warlock changes. So they basically buffed every single spec. Demonology, Affliction, those got buffs all the way around. But the one that's important and most important is
Affliction?
Your mother. Destruction. All of our major spells were increased by 11%, but the favorite is the fact that they have removed the cast time of the Rain of Fire. Now, I wanted to talk about that Rain of Fire thing because they nerfed our damage. And then in Legion, they gave us a cast time. I know why they did that. They gave us that because they were trying to avoid us pulling mobs, and we were taking shit that didn't belong to us. And there's a lot of reasons that they did that. They felt
it makes
like
sense.
It does make sense. However, mobs are shared now if you're the same
faction.
Same faction. Yes. So it's not really too much of an issue. If I go and pull a bunch, I mean, I might take it from a horde. That's going to be for another episode because I got, no honor sometimes. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But I understand why they made the change to begin with. So I wasn't really crying about the change, but they did remove that's not live yet. That won't be live till Tuesday. But I'm so excited to have that cast time removed.
I told you to celebrate, and you were kind of like hesitant to. Like, you were happy as soon as you read the changes?
Well, I was scared, too, because whenever stuff's going really, really well, I feel like people get on there and complain about destruction, and then it's nerfed to the ground again. So I try not to be over braggadocious when they do a nice thing for us, because then I don't want people to be like, fuck Warlocks, because if you guys have ever read the Warlock forums, they're just as bad as the Rogue forums with people complaining about Warlocks. There's so much hate and discontent for my class. Even, I mean, I don't care about Affliction, but Demonology is really, really fun to play. I did play it in beta. I haven't played it since then, but it was really, really fun to play. But there's a lot of Warlock hate in the world. I don't know.
Well, these people probably never played a Warlock either, so I had never played one until recently.
They're just like, Warlocks are always overpowered. They're kind of supposed to be for their class fantasy, though. I mean, literally, we're supposed to be super powerful, especially when it comes to manipulating things like the fire and the fel. Like, that's what our class fantasy is. Gul'dan isn't running shit because he's some fucking schmuck in a dress. Like, there's a reason he's the boss of shit. So
nice way of putting that.
Right.
Schmuck in a dress.
So Warriors also, there was an arms change, Exploit the Weakness, which is an artifact trait, bonus reduced by 3% per point. They actually returned that. They did revert that. Focus Rage bonus damage reduced by 30%. So I think that might be a small nerf. Fury got a little bit of a buff, and Prot got looks like a buff here because some of their rage. Well, their rage generation. I thought it was cost of rage. So okay, it wasn't.
You look like a buff.
So
she looks like a mage.
Looking though at a lot of these things here, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, Belle, but a lot of the stuff that we have here, a lot of these buffs that we're getting, were for classes that were poorly underperforming.
Right.
Frost DKs were literally out of the 24 DPS classes out there, the specs. We were dead last. We were doing 66% of what an Arms Warrior was doing, and I mean that's horrible. Marksman Hunter did not get a buff, but I see them coming next. They're another one that's doing bad. Fury Warriors were doing horrible, and it's nice to see Elemental Shamans getting these buffs, and they are watching what's going on. They even said I forget it was last year or the year before. We had an Elemental
Shaman in the raid. Epoxus, he was 5th in damage, 5th or 4th in damage the entire each raid.
His gear is fantastic though too.
Well, but his gear is comparable to others as well, though. Like, I mean, his gear's not.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, some people don't know rotations, and we know that's true.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
But it was nice to see an elemental at the top of the charts.
Absolutely,
really.
Yeah.
It was nice. It's nice.
I really kind of want to level my enhancement shaman because we don't have one of those, but that just adds some more mail, and I don't want to take away from people.
Right.
Okay, so imagine this though. I mean, I know my Frost DK. I've been playing a Frost DK now for 3 expansions. It was so bad at the beginning of the expansion that I actually put away Frost and rolled Unholy because Unholy was outperforming so much better. And yet we were still dead center for DPS when it comes to rating. When I'm going into Mythics or I'm going into Heroics and the tank is pulling, whether it be a blood tank or a prop warrior or prop pally, and I'm seeing them sometimes out DPSing the Frost DKs.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I know my rotation. And I'm being out DPS sometimes on groups of mobs by a tank, then yeah, it was definitely something that needed to be fixed.
Oh, of course. I totally agree with that.
And I'm glad. Like I said, I know we watched before when they were doing the race for world first and all that kind of stuff. Blizzard has the ability to sit in and watch your raid. They can pull it up on the monitor and watch the raid occur as you were sitting or fighting the boss. So they are watching, they are paying attention. They are seeing some of these numbers that need to be fixed.
I've done that before.
Fixing it. Oh, you were telling me about that when you worked for another company, wasn't it?
Yep. It was fantastic.
So you can actually go in and see exactly what's going on in the raid and know, okay, yeah, this is what's performing nice. This is what's not performing nice. These are some of the bugs that we're seeing. So I'm sure they have teams of people sitting there doing it. So if you didn't get a buff or you got a nerf, just
That's
relax.
why I don't switch. That's why I don't switch, in truth. And it's not because I don't want to. It's because I have faith. Maybe that faith is stupid for me to have, but I have faith. Okay, so I just sit, Warlords with some bullshit. I had to sit a little bit in Kata with some bullshit. But I don't switch for that reason because I know it'll be fixed. It might not be fixed on my time, and it might not be right away. But that's the whole reason I don't switch.
I thought
have
of you
that faith.
specifically when you were like, that's what comes to mind. And we usually play alts anyway, so it's not always about chasing the numbers, which I know has been a famous theme for joking around on this show. But I think just you and Lycan, you're so dedicated to your classes, and Secret being more raid ready all the time. He's more comfortable switching to either what the raid needs or what the numbers are going to be better. But I get it.
You don't expansion because it's so damn impossible.
Well, I think maybe playing Frost, if that made you unhappy, and I totally think you should switch. If it makes if it's a source of. But I'm happy doing shit DPS. I'm happy doing the best DPS. I'm just happy to Chaos Bolt. In truth.
Your point was have faith because it'll come back. Lycan can play Frost again. Go ahead, Lycan.
I'm very dedicated to the DK, and you won't see me switch off a DK. Oh well, we need another melee. You're either going to take my DK or you're not going to want me. I will, however, play between the two specs. I mean, if the numbers are that much better on a DK for melee, to keep my raid position, absolutely, I will go unholy.
I just left the raid. When I got nerfed, I just left the raid and was like, well, I'm not willing to change anything, so I'm just going to go now.
For me, though, I have no problem doing that. And the only time Dave or Secret actually would get me to switch off, sorry, I use your slave name. The only time Secret would actually get me off of the DK is if say, hey, look, I need a heals. You need to start bringing up a healer. I would definitely switch for that. But
I'll switch for a heal too. I'll switch for a total different role. I won't DPS on another tune, but I will switch for a different role for
It's okay. We'll bring your Warlock Belle. We don't need.
But for tank and DPS, you're going to keep my DK, or you're not going to take him at all. I'll roll DK, blood DK DPS because they were doing actually pretty decent there at the beginning. But the class itself is what matters to me, not as much as the spec. But I'm so happy to see Frost be brought back up to where it belongs. We are the
weapons are so cool too.
Oh yeah, and we are the true hero class, unlike another one. But remember Arthas did beat Illidan. That's all I'm saying.
So the Demon Hunter stuff is really funny because there's several people in the guild who were like, "Oh, I'm meaning my Demon Hunter," and my response is
me.
Just please be careful and tread with caution because it's new, it's shiny. They're going to nerf you into the ground, and you've put all your eggs in that basket. Just be prepared for the worst for when that happens. Have a solid backup plan. So then I've seen all these people posting about the Demon Hunter, and I was like, I tried to tell you. You guys didn't listen. Now, they'll bring it back up, just like DKs.
But it's still good, isn't it? Are they bad now?
Oh, they're still good. It's not even really... Fine. Me and my husband were talking about the other day, it's not this detrimental thing that ruined them.
I was just in the Mythic Dungeon with,
it's totally fine. But just
the Demon Hunter tank.
Nerfs and buffs, man, it's going to be the way of the road. That's just how it is. If I just would they don't even have to buff destruction. I totally was really super excited for 11% damage across the board, but I was not complaining. I was very happy with the place that destruction was in. So
I think that's why it's good to just play what you like. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
No, I'm just saying, and to say again, and to reiterate, it is about skill. We have Bo, he plays Farfignugan, our Demon Hunter. And he does...
That's not his name, we just don't know how to pronounce it. So it's Farfignugan is his name because we can't say it. It doesn't even begin with an F, it begins with an H, and we cannot pronounce it.
It's like Hellergorgor.
Right, Farfignugan. Right. So, I mean, you watch him play, and even after the nerfs, as we were rating last night, he was up there in DPS. He was doing really good. Frost DKs. I know how to play my Frost DK, and I thought I was pretty good at a DK period when I switched on Holy, yet I had somebody like Cashbringer was blowing me out of the water earlier this week. We have marksman hunters that are in our guild that are in top 1 or 2%, or top 1 or 2 spot for DPS. So it's not 100% on all these numbers. So if you're really doing that bad and your numbers are that horrible, take a look at some of your rotations. It might be a rotational issue.
Well, and it's also that you bring me to my next point before we move on to the next subject. I have a fellow warlock. His name is Soiled Myself. We call him T.O. Soiled. He is my theory crafter because he has like 9 warlocks. So he utilizes the other warlocks for gear and enchants and stuff to theory craft. So right now with destruction, we're in such a mastery mindset that I'm 97% mastery because that's my mindset, which isn't a terrible way to be, except the changes made with the soul shards. I might want to consider a little bit more haste there so that I could cast my incinerate a little bit quicker because I'm using fire and brimstone for that or whatever. But theory craft with your stats as well. It's going to be one of those things where sometimes a website is not going to help you because they haven't even figured it out, right? Icy Veins is wonderful. I'm sure they're doing amazing things. The only problem that I have when I go to a website like Icy Veins is I find that they might not have thought of other avenues, or I find actually a player in the guild will tell me something that I didn't know that Icy Veins didn't catch. So don't be afraid to theory craft with your stats for your enchants, theory craft with your secondary stats, theory craft based off what you understand about what each thing does. Like the haste is good for obviously my spell cast and my mana regen, right? Like that's what the haste is good for. So I want to make sure that I have
Haste has nothing to do with mana regen.
No, not mana regen. For being able to cast my incinerate quicker, right? It doesn't really do much for your chaos bolt, dude.
It cuts down your cooldown times.
Right. So my critical strike last expansion, I only needed 12%. After 12%, it didn't do shit for you. So I didn't need to focus that. Like right now, we're having to theory craft to find out, do we need 12% this time or do we need more? So don't be afraid to theory craft with what you're doing. I know it gets really expensive with enchants and it gets expensive with gear, but you might have to take the time if you're struggling pulling numbers that other people are pulling, that you're spec in class, and maybe you have the same equal gear, just different stats. You might want to just look into that. Ask other people that have got it figured out. Don't ask the schmuck in trade chat who's pulling 50k DPS. Ask somebody who's pulling legitimate, valid numbers that you can kind of get with to check out your rotation and check out your stats.
That makes sense.
And
also LTP.
And
Right.
can I make one comment along the same lines of that, Belle?
No.
Please, if you're working with your stats and you're trying to mess around with stuff and you're working with your talents, it might be that talent doesn't work for you.
Right.
I know there are certain talents that I don't like using because it's not my play style.
Your
and
rotation.
that I will, right. Now, I'll pull a hell of a lot bigger numbers on other talents that pull just the same amount of DPS.
I agree
So
with you.
please kind of keep an eye on that as well.
I agree.
For sure.
Look at that. Us being on the same page. Now,
Doesn't happen often.
the
I think
other,
we're on the same page all the time.
sometimes you're not even in the same bookshelf, Jimmer.
Continue.
You ain't even in the same library, okay?
I know.
So Battle.net is slowly rebranding itself to Blizzard. The only problem I have with that, I don't have a problem in general. That's your thing. It's your business. You do what you want. We already know you as Blizzard. I'll call it Blizzard. Whatever you want me to call it, shit on a stick, I'll call it that because you're the boss.
Is it
But
fried?
it is a little. It's a little sad because I remember
It's been around forever.
Yeah, like it. I remember when they first started Battle.net, and it was
2002.
It was on a
That's when I started.
It's so
Good old StarCraft
it's
days.
so sad that's
I
going
remember
away.
when it was level 40 for a
But
mount.
it does.
shouldn't
It
change.
makes sense because the branding of Blizzard, to them, I think they figure they want everything streamlined, right? Which, as an organization, we understand what that means because we're the same way. We want everything to be uniform across the board. But it's so iconic that it's going to be. I don't imagine for many moons to come, people are going to be calling it what it should be.
So what is it going to be called? Just Blizzard?
Blizzard voice, Blizzard. Like each
On
element
Monster?
is
Like-
is Blizzard is the theme here.
The fuck? I mean,
Hannah, you scandal, I guess.
that is sad.
I'm trying really hard not to sneeze, so if you guys keep seeing me doing stuff with my nose, it's because this.
Just let it out. Sneeze for the
No,
fans.
I can't.
Just
Then
say
I'll be like
orange.
hots for shots and sneeze on my computer monitor and then lie about it, even though I saw the sneeze juice go on his computer monitor.
Like, no.
He totally was like, I covered my nose and I watched it was like slow motion because I'm germophobic, so it was like slow motion.
Yeah.
It flew out of his nose and just slowly just sprayed on
Don't we
his
all
monitor.
work with some gross person that does that too?
I'm
Cover
sure.
your mouth,
I'm
lady
sure it's
down the road.
It's so nasty. PTR, this round of PTR updates, there was not a ton of them that was worth mentioning except two things. The auction house, this is PTR, mind you, this is for 7.1. You'll be able to sort by price by unit, which basically will make it easier, things for you to find easier within your specific price range. And then for cooking, this one made me crack up. Nomi now has rank 2 of his very popular item, burnt food, that is slightly burnt food.
Is this a joke?
No, it's slightly burnt food, but it's actually food you can eat that will replenish your health and your mana. What it is the whole...
Is their name? Isn't it Nami?
It's Nami, yeah.
Nami.
What did I
Nami.
say?
Nami? No, I thought you said Nomi for a split second. But, you know.
Nami, it's all the same.
You don't know me.
I mean,
I'm crying.
Nami,
Anyways,
Nomi.
sucks.
Yeah, no, he's
No.
awful. He burns everything.
If you ask him nice.
No.
I'm going to be doing an add-on video. For those of you listening or watching, I'm going to be putting the add-on video up. It's going to be all the useful add-ons that you need for PvE, professions, the whole nine. I'm going to put that up probably in the next couple days on the YouTube channel. But until I do, for the Nomi, whatever, there's a neat little add-on called Nami Cakes. And Nami Cakes is actually, when you go to Nami, it'll tell you the possible recipes you can learn from the different things. So if you've been doing all your lean meat shanks or whatever, and you're not getting any recipes from that
Lean
after a
meat grilling
period of
machine?
time, yeah, it'll tell you for each item you have what you could possibly get for that, or if you already have it, so you don't waste your food. You don't waste your mats doing
That's
that.
cool.
So make sure you guys go and check that out. It's actually quite
Maybe
neat.
that's why I have so much burnt food then.
Well, no, he burns everything, but it'll show you, okay,
Burnt
and it'll
all
also give
22
you a
last
count
time.
of the items that you have in your bag or, in your reagent tab, but it'll give you that count, but it'll tell you you can learn this recipe from here, you can learn this recipe from here. So that was on
That's
the
cool.
cooking thing. Suramar, to get the
Was it
Suramar
on
Surf and
the cooking
Turf.
channel?
Suramar, to get the Suramar Surf and Turf, which is a highly coveted, especially for raiding, you'll get that in 2 recipes. You'll get one torn one and one torn one, and you'll combine those 2 into one recipe. So just so you guys know, you'll get the one half, and then you'll get it in doing Suramar things, and then you'll get the second half, and you can combine it, and you'll make a whole recipe. I just learned that the other day while doing it.
That's pretty sweet.
I have one half.
Can we combine our halves, or they're soulbound?
They're still bad.
I have one half too.
I'll probably get the same
One
half on the next
quarter
mob I kill.
portion. That's what we have. 1/4 portion. Yeah. So, guys.
I know.
I know. That's pretty much it for the news. We there wasn't a whole lot. It's the calm before the storm because it's BlizzCon time and there's secret rumblings happening. So it's a little bit quiet. They're preparing for 7.1. A lot of stuff's going on, so there isn't a whole lot of news. But I want to hear more about this whispering eye from Lycan.
Me too. Oh, wait. That means it's my turn, huh? All right.
What
So,
color eye is it?
It's pink, of course.
Get
There we go.
ready.
Oh my gosh.
I am going to warn you right now that this entire thing is purely speculative. There is not confirmation on any of this. It is 100% speculation. For those who are listening on iTunes and not looking on YouTube, I have my nice, beautiful tinfoil hat on. So I am ready to go. It's really
needs
hot.
a
from
snapback
sitting
when you
there.
got
It looks more
tinfoil.
like a Scully, but we'll just say it's a
All right.
Jim understood.
He's Cholo. So anyway, back for what we're talking about. If you've been into the Emerald Nightmare, and for those of you who haven't, you'll be in Tomorrow in LFR if that's your thing. You get to actually fight something called Il'gynoth, which is the heart of the corruption. Just real quick, what it says in the adventure journal says, lodged in the hollow of the now decrepit world tree, Il'gynoth is a manifestation of the horrors that lie at the heart of the nightmare. It's a massive corruption, a thing that should not be. Its tendrils seep through the ground, emerging in countless horrifying eye stalks and limbs, and this thing is just disgusting.
Did you say whoring? Like
I
it
did
was
say
I heard
whoring
that
at
too.
first. I was
That
thinking
tweet's
about the
whoring
whispering eye.
itself out.
It is. So this was actually broken. I don't remember the guy's name. It was a Reddit article that was posted up there about the whispers of the Il'gynoth. Just like if you went in and fought Cthulhu, if you fought your Sarge, if you fought Yogg-Saron, all of them would whisper to you and would try to go ahead and corrupt you as well. It's these maddening whispers. There are a lot of whispers that this guy says. So we're going to go through these real quick, step by step, and I'm going to kind of give you my thoughts of what each one is. The first one. The boy king serves at the master's table. 3 lies he will offer you. That right there, there's a lot of different possibilities that could go. And now, if you remember what these whispers are, they're always trying to deceive you. They're trying to make you go crazy, trying to tell you things about things that are going on that you really don't know, to try to bring up like the whole conspiracy theory. So the tinfoil hat is definitely there, and it's there for a good reason. But so many are speculating, though, that this might be talking about Anduin Wrynn. I completely do not think that's who this is talking about. If you think about it, we know of another boy prince, or since Neltharion's death, now a king. Rathian cannot be trusted. He knows the power that goes on with Azeroth. Remember, when we were in Mist of Pandaria and we're doing the whole cape thing, he yells something out, "We have fallen, we must rebuild the final Titan, do not forget." And then he turns around, he kind of comes back to his senses, he goes, "You can't trust me." And he doesn't remember anything that just happened. The old god that corrupted Deathwing, which was Rathian's father, was Enzoth. The same that has corrupted the Emerald Dream. So with Il'gynoth being part of the Nightmare, tied to Enzoth, he would reference none other than Enzoth to be the master. We know that the Black Dragon flight was corrupted as well. So therefore, the only thing that I could really put together of who the boy king would be Rathian. And we know that he's going to be back. We were told by the devs that we're not done with Rathian. So whether those 3 lies, I think people were speculating if it is Rathian, those were the 3 lies that he offered in Pandaria. I don't think it is. I think there are 3 more coming. So hopefully they are going to finally flesh out the whole Rathian thing that they promised back at last expansion. We will see. And speaking of flesh, the next whisper is, "Flesh is his gift. He is your true creator." Now, again, this is a reference back to another old god, one that most are familiar with, which is Yogg-Saron. Ages ago, Yogg-Saron had cursed the Titans' creations with something called the Curse of Flesh, making them mortal. Not sure why this is important, but if you think about it, Yogg-Saron has made everything, especially all the inhabitants, the way they are today. So I think this might be just one of those random sayings. We keep looking to the Titans as being our creators, but of course, you got the old gods trying to make themselves feel a bit more important, saying no, they're the real creators of the inhabitants. The next one we move on to, and this is a very interesting one, was the King of Diamonds has been made a pawn. Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, okay, who's the King of Diamonds? Well, it has to be Magni Bronzebeard. So, remember Magni tried to commune with Azeroth, and he did. But when he did, he also became trapped in this big crystal. He actually got turned into a diamond. Then he breaks free and is now this living diamond that's walking and talking. And we actually see him at the beginning of Legion. And he tells us that Azeroth has told him that the Pillars of Creation, how to get them, and that we should use them. What if it wasn't Azeroth that said it, but it was really Enzoth that was whispering him this stuff? It's again, we know Enzoth has close ties to corrupting the earth and all that's inside. So it really wouldn't be much of a stress to say that this was Enzoth talking to him instead of Azeroth. Hence, the King of Diamonds being made a pawn. He really doesn't know what's going on. The next one. 5 keys will open our way, 5 torches to light our path. Again, this goes back to the Pillars of Creation. Remember, it was Magni Bronzebeard that sent us on this journey to retrieve the pillars. Now, I believe that in using them, it will usher in a new reign of the old gods. That ties into this next saying, which is, from the earth he draws strength. Our earth, our strength. So, remember, like I was saying, Enzoth has a close relation to the corruption of the earth. When I say earth, that's lowercase k, that's with Azeroth. You're really disturbing me, Gemma. I really believe,
I'm trying to tell you to sit up because the camera's cut off in your box and you're not reading chat.
I'm not reading chat. I was getting so in it, I was sliding down.
Sorry, okay, we're good.
That's okay. So remember that we know that it was actually interrupting Azeroth, or try it again. It was corrupting the earth of Azeroth. I really believe that this being said is that it's Enzoth that's trying to draw their powers from corrupting it as well. With Sargeras here with the Legion, I think what's going on is that he's preventing the other old gods and the other entities of the nightmare from actually having their full power. He says, from the earth he draws strength, our earth, our strength. So I think with that fell corruption there, they need to close that portal in order for the old gods to make their comeback. By using the pillars to stop this invasion, that would fortify the old gods and allow their strength to return. Again, just completely theories here. The next one. This one's drawn a lot of controversy as well. The Lord of Ravens will turn the key. Now, this one has a lot of possibilities. Some say it's Kurtalos or Katalis Ravencrest, Lord of the Blackrock Hold. While this has a great possibility, I think with him being dead and all, it's going to kind of hinder him from doing this. Then there's Illidan, and yes, that Illidan. We know that during the invasion of Blackrock Hold, he held off the Legion. I don't really think that this makes him the Lord of Ravens, but it's a possibility, being that he's the Lord, the Lord Protector of Ravencrest at the time. Capone from the writers had brought this to my attention, but after doing a little bit more research into it, I think that's kind of pushing a too far of a stretch, especially when there are three other ones. Another one could be Odin. While disguised as Havi, Odin in Norse mythology is actually accompanied by two ravens. These ravens were brought information back and forth to the Norse god. I really don't think it's Odin just for the fact that he's trapped inside the Halls of Valor and has given us the Pillars of Creation from Stormheim anyway, so kind of throws that one out. Then there's two more. We got Medivh and Khadgar. Now, again, like with Ravencrest, Medivh is dead, and that might impede him from doing some of his work. But now the Khadgar has control of Vatiesh, allowing him Raver form, kind of makes him the Lord of Ravens. There's also an upcoming patch that we go back to Karazhan. And that may actually shed some light on some of these things. And also with Khadgar being so hell-bent on destroying the Legion, it'll probably most likely be him that's going to activate the Pillars of Creation. Next one. This one we actually I had rewritten this thing 5 times just because of how obscure it could be. And is at the hour of her third death, she will usher in our coming. Okay, so some say this is Azeroth. Some say that this is Sylvanas. While Sylvanas, she died at the hands of Arthas, and then she killed herself by throwing herself off of Ice Crown and was raised by the Valkyr. I would hope that Blizzard would have some sense and not try to kill off a new war chief so soon. I mean, we went from Thrall to Hitler Garrosh to Vol'jin that can't even fight a bunch of trash mobs. Infernals. Right? He fights trash mobs and dies, and now we have Sylvanas. So I mean, to really try to kill off Sylvanas so fast, I think it would be an uproar in the community, and I think it would actually do more damage to them. But think of this one. So we don't really know how or what an old god's gender is. And Yrsharj, I hate that name, was killed when it was first removed from the crust of Azeroth. Its death spawned all the Shaw, which would kind of think of it as her children. Then the heart died after the siege of Orgrimmar and disappeared, making this the second death. What if her essence returned to the planet somehow? Maybe through ley lines, the essence of Yrsharj is waiting to return through the Maelstrom, or throw this at you, how about certain group of people who are like crack addicts that like this well with the water inside and are making us to run around and die to reopen the ley lines, leading to it. Yeah, fan favorite, my ass. Better yet, is it possible? It's a possibility that when an old god dies, they can actually return to Ny'alotha. And I will explain that here because that actually takes us into the next one, which we're almost done here. When you kill him, now there are a couple more, but when you kill him, Il'gynoth says, "Enzoth, I journey to Ny'alotha." According to the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron, which is an archaeology thing, in the land of Ny'alotha, there is only sleep. It also says, in the sleeping city of Ny'alotha, walk only mad things. And the third thing it says about Ny'alotha is a city of old, terrible, unnumbered crimes. Also, the Shadow Priest, when you walk around with the Shadow Priest artifact weapon, when you come near Suramar City, this city of elves pales in comparison to the sleeping city. And then when you go to Stormheim, he'll say, don't be impressed by the tall icons of the titans which stand here. The towers of sacrifice in Ny'alotha dwarf these pathetic temples. So you've got a lot of these things. Even Yrsharj says something about Ny'alotha, about going back to the city. Says, I think you will rest in Nyalotha. It is a possibility that this Nyalotha is on Azeroth. The Whisper in there is also says that its surface blazes bright, masking the shadows below. Using that Whisper, it could be the places undersea somewhere. We know that the surface of the ocean could be very shiny when its light hits off it. When you further down it gets completely dark. And Nyalotha definitely is going to be the darkest place. Also, the Scepter of the Tides, the Scepter of Queen Ashara, was said to shine like stars. You know, we know that her being part of the diamond. Right. Well, with her being like that and down in the bottom of the ocean with Enzoth and everything else that's going on, it could be that the Naga and Ashara, Nyalotha, and Enzoth might be actually a major part towards the end of this expansion, or even further going into the next expansion.
A water makes sense to me anytime somebody says that, because I see things that are leading us in that direction. All the water mounts that we're getting, like I literally am seeing us being led in the direction of, I'm not going to say a water expansion, but of things occurring in the water. They are giving us lots of tools to be in the water.
There's an engineering. I do too, but there was it could be that it just, let's say we go in and there's a force field over, like kind of like how Suramar had that one over top of it where it keeps all the water out. I wouldn't mind swimming to a specific zone to be underwater, to have like an undersea thing. I didn't like the whole fast year thing. That was not my favorite zone. But if we are going to go closer to this Dreadlord, if we're going to go closer to this old god.
Were you going to call me a Dreadlord? Is that why you said that?
We already know you are.
No, Belle, I was not going to call you a Dreadlord. So,
Jaina.
All this leads up to Jaina. And let me explain. Her heart is a crater, and we have filled it. Was the last whisper.
What a slut, because people run around filling her holes. That's what I've been trying to tell you people.
Hey, I've always said that she's gone from human to orc to dragon.
I mean, I'm not judging, but did she use protection?
Maybe a Titan next. But, hey.
So it said what again? We filled her holes?
Her heart is a crater, and we have filled it. I said, it might not have been a Titan she was going to. She might have been going for an old god. Don't judge if she's into hentai.
But why do you guys think that's Jaina?
Okay, so with that, Theramore was destroyed, and leaving behind it was this giant crater. This was devastating for her. If you remember Theramore, that was her love.
That bitch cries every time I go back to Theramore. She's QQing.
Right. And if everything she did was for Theramore and for Azeroth, but it was, her Theramore people had a very special place. When it destroyed, she was overtaken with so much hatred that she wanted and almost succeeded in destroying Orgrimmar. I mean, she had all those alt-water elementals. She had this big typhoon coming. It was going to wipe them out.
You conjured a blizzard. Lead them into it.
Oh, fuck. I just ran that the other day. She has hated the Horde since then and has not done wanted nothing more than to destroy it. She got pissed at the end of Siege of Orgrimmar when we didn't kill Garrosh. She got pissed at the beginning of Warlords. Beginning of Legion, she throws her arms up because they let the Horde back into her beautiful city. No, bitch, your city's laying in ruins. This isn't your city. So as we let him back in a Dalaran, she threw her hands up and she's like, okay, I'm, fuck the shit, I'm out of here. But before all this happened, this is coming from a peace-loving hippie that has always been, always looking to connect all the races in Azeroth. She's forgiven atrocities before her. Even when her father was killed, she's forgiven it. So this is kind of new for her. Also, second only to Khadgar in terms of power, a corrupted Jaina is a very, very bad thing. All joking aside...
I just wanted to be the Legion end boss, so...
Well, all joking aside, if she became a, let's say, shadow mage, and by using her powers, driving herself more and more into insanity...
She would be fucking kick ass.
We will all hope that she was just a Dreadlord. It will be that bad. She could destroy Azeroth with a snap of her finger like that. Another possibility is that her is talking about Azeroth. When her charge was ripped out of the crust, it left the Well of Eternity. It was a gaping wound that was forever there. Being that we've never seen or directly, interacted with the old god Enzoth, this could be why. I mean, he could have entered Azeroth via the Maelstrom, started his corruption there. I personally don't like this idea, but for full disclosure, I had to go ahead and at least consider it and bring it up with this. So in general, everything that's going on here is strictly theoretical. Nobody knows what the hell is going on, and it took us a couple patches before we actually realized what Yogg-Saron was talking about in full and what, Cthulhu was talking. I'm hoping we don't find this all out tomorrow because I like these things. Could Jaina be the end boss? Could she be the destroyer of Azeroth? Could, we actually be heading towards a new reign of the old gods back on Azeroth? Can you imagine everything looking like the Emerald Nightmare?
Yeah.
And the entire planet like that? That is a big possibility. I keep saying there is a spoiler that I'm going to get into in about a week in about 2 weeks when you allow me to say spoilers. It happened very early on in an expansion, and anybody that's at level 100 already knows it. But it leads into what the next expansion is. And if this is true, and the old gods come back, this could be the reason why we're going to the place where we're going for the next expansion, in my opinion.
You're so smart.
So I'm really dreading this talks of underwater anything. I don't want there to
You're the one who only keeps talking
No,
about
I'm
it.
not the only one. There's been several people that's the only reason where it like clicked in my head where I was like, well, okay, that makes a lot of sense as we've gotten a substantial amount of water mounts. Like there's been a lot of water mounts. So that just seemed a little bit odd to me that there would be, but I mean, a lot of Broken Isles is covered in water. So that also does, makes, especially given our direct location to the Great Sea, that it makes sense that way too. So
not as much as you would think though, because look at the end of Warlords. Everybody was doing the fishing stuff because what could you fish up in your garrison?
They were giving away. Some of us had.
They were giving away turtle mounts like it was going, left and right. So it is a possibility that we're moving towards that water expansion.
I don't want to even think about that. We're just going to pretend. But I did like the theory crafting on the Whispers. That was pretty legit.
I love the hat.
Big special thanks out to all those people out there. There's a lot of people out there that were doing work on it. I did, reference guys like Novel and guys like, the red shirt guy. I was talking to him all week and Grand Nega. So we're not done with this. I'll hopefully be putting a lot of this on Facebook, a lot of this on my Twitter. So keep in touch, watch what's going on, and just keep your ears open. Things may change tomorrow. It might change.
Awesome. Gemma, what's going on in the pet battle world?
Quite a bit. What's going on with you?
I don't know. You're not centered in your camera. It's kind of creeping me out a little bit.
Oh, it's just because I'm leaning over a little. It's the flannel. It makes the screen look a little weird. It's really you.
That's it.
Are you dabbing and leaning?
No. I can though. But hello everyone.
I want hypnotic.
I'm clean, guys. I want to talk about a few things actually. One, I have a favorite website to get all my information, of course, right? The PWNCAST But WarcraftPets.com is the best website. I've mentioned it before. I just really wanted to talk and make sure people knew if there was a site or you wanted to track your collection, find an easy way to find some of the pets you're missing, have access to forums, and there's breaking news. So that's definitely the big bad boss of all the websites. So go to warcraftpets.com. I'm currently third on my server for pet collection, but I think a lot of people...
I used to use that when you used to have to farm pets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Like Secret
I used to use it. Secret Sauce. That was my main. Well,
pets?
been my main. Yeah, man. I sat in Ashara farming the blue whelplings for 3 hours. And actually got 3.
Right.
So, yeah.
Those are worth a lot of money right now.
They were worth a ton back then. I think I made like 20K. And back then, that was a ton of gold. So.
Right. And that's when I first started clicking in for buying and selling pets. You're right. Those Azura whelplings were very expensive. And when you could unlearn a companion pet and then sell them on the auction house, you had access to all these pets. And people were selling those whelplings for cheap. I got a couple crawling claws for 6K. So at the start of Mists of Pandaria, I really racked up and purchased a lot of pets. So talk about the website, talk about the Azura Whelpling. I missed the Pet Battle bonus event. Now, Blizzard, and we've talked before, is they're not really going to go to events just yet. Maybe they'll come back. But we've got all these pets to level, and I want to do it faster. Of course, there's fast ways to power level your pets, but I really do miss the Pet Battle bonus event. And last week we talked about the Kraji Gardeling. It's gone, right? We can't get it until next spring. And then we also mentioned the 2 new cool pets that confirmed, Secret Sauce confirmed we'll get for BlizzCon for going or buying a virtual ticket. So I wanted to talk about some new pets that are coming back. They were brand new around the Halloween event, and a lot of you missed them. And we did mention how I still have them in my garrison, right? The Spectral Spinner, the Ghastly Rat, and the Ghostly Maggot. Those 3 pets are very awesome, all 3 undead pets, and they're very good for a variety of uses. So whether you've already messaged me in game and I've let you come to my garrison and get them, be prepared to get them this next Halloween, because they're a must in your collection, I must say. So if it's the same way during the Halloween event, there'll be the vendor in your garrison. I have a feeling they're going to move it though, but you may still be able to get those pets in your garrison. As of right now, you still can. I'll update you if anything changes, but for now, you get them in your level 100 garrison.
Probably get them in Dalaran if I had to take a gander on a guess.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, well,
thing.
they'd have to make them wild, right? So you'd actually have to be catching these ones in the wild, right? So hopefully, and of course, PWNCAST lets you know what's up. So we'll definitely do that. And I just wanted to talk as well. I brought up the Art of Justice for these cool coloring pictures. I don't know if any of you actually went to her page. The reason why I bring her up again is she's continuously made more pictures for you and the family to color, or maybe you just like crayons and you want to color. So check her out on Facebook.
Color
again.
pencils.
Yeah, some of you will have trouble staying within the lines, but it's, practice makes permanent, so you'll be able to keep them in lines.
Oh, we weren't talking about like actual coloring though, right? No, got it.
No, real coloring.
Really? Because I love my crayons on my applesauce.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What are you guys being serious?
Little shaves.
We're trolling you just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I don't. It's great when the guy's not smart enough to catch the trolls.
It really is. It just makes it that much better.
At the home with the guys in the white coats, they put my medicine in my applesauce.
Right. So you're
And
not
they give me
actually allowed
crayons.
to, right? And so, but they won't give you the part to color on because the sides are too sharp. So,
Right.
I didn't have a lot of specifics. I wanted to talk more about like my process of some of the creation on the YouTube channel, but that's more of my week in WoW. So I'll make this one short, and we'll discuss it more in my week of WoW of just all that. So I just wanted to remind you guys to get those 3 good undead pets in about a month now when the Halloween event is back.
Good word.
Yeah.
Gonna take a break with Secret Sauce's raiding stuff for a couple weeks while he's doing the raid things. He's really sick and just.
But I do have one comment though.
Yeah.
You did not put anything in your show notes, which means you don't have a segment today. That's what that means.
Rating's fun.
Rating is fun.
Rating is
but
fun.
you could talk about like your other stuff in your week in WoW. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a break, especially with you being sick today.
Honestly, yeah. I looked at it and I was like, back to sleep.
Yeah.
Went right back to bed.
Totally
You called me
understandable.
earlier,
And it's still
went right back
new.
to bed.
Like, we're barely doing tryouts, so there's not going to be a lot of good word that you're going to be given until we're kind of in the thick of it. So
The only thing I will say for this little segment is we had a ton of people show up. I'm super proud of that. We will more than likely have enough people in Riders, like we talked.
We're not going to talk about that yet. We're going to wait until we're ready to talk
We
about
have a
it
lot
in
of
the Facebook
people,
group.
and I'm proud to see that many people signed up to raid and are committed to raiding and that want to improve in raiding. So for that, I thank you guys.
I haven't announced what we're doing to the guild yet, so I didn't want to announce it on the show.
Whatever.
Anyway, moving awkwardly along.
Yes.
It's like I'm gonna kill everybody. It's good things. It's always a good thing when you have too much of something. That's always a good thing, and we can handle that. So
I wish I had too much
with
money.
that.
I know. I wish I had too many tacos. So for my segment, which normally Belle's Bites comes on whatever I've done this week for the YouTube channel or whatever I've done for PDQ Guidewise or whatever I see some of your guys' pains and stuff that you guys need extra special help with or a nice breakdown on. Well, for PvP, I was doing research for my add-on video, which will be out in the next couple days. I hand research all these things. So I just don't look at an add-on and be like, oh, this looks cool. I hand test these add-ons. So when you get the add-on video, you'll know that it's actually something that was tested and I'm giving you something that's good, solid feedback because I've used it. So
Kid tested, mother approved.
right. Now in this, I realized add-ons for PvP is something that a lot of you probably don't know about. You probably don't know what's good. You don't know what's bad. So I'm going to give you Belle's favorite add-ons for PvP. If any of you are going to comment and be like, you don't need add-ons for PvP, just keep it to yourself, guys. Some of us like add-ons. I'm one of those people that like them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't rely on them, but I
need them for
do
PvP.
utilize them. So let's talk about the add-ons that we have. Also, during the segment, it is not code for you guys to give me your input on what add-ons you think I should do for my own segment. So, I'm just going to
I don't need to add.
You mean us three?
Learn
yeah,
to
I'm just
play,
going to
noob.
disclaim. Yes, you three. I'm going to
Can
disclaim
we
right now.
add on to your add-ons after?
No, you cannot add on to my add-ons. But
Gladius?
what? Yeah, I have that on my list.
And let's
Okay.
just all spoil them.
So let's
no,
go.
yeah.
The first
Can you
one's
read
going
them?
to be Gladius if you are an arena person. If you don't play arenas and you strictly do battlegrounds, you don't need to have it. But Gladius tracks trinket use, tracks all the things that you need. It's beautiful. You know exactly where all the things are. You can move it
It's
around.
actually really pretty too.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
super customizable, but it tracks everything that you need right there in that player frame for both yourself and the opposing team. So it's really, really nice to have that. That's what I use. There's several other different... Stop it right now. There's
I'm
several...
not allowed to say anything.
There's several other different add-ons that you could use for these frames. It's at your whim, but I prefer Gladius. There's several versions of Gladius. I use the original. Omnibar. Omnibar tracks all the enemies' cooldowns. I recommend using that, especially you want to know if somebody...
World PvP.
Like, oops, did that person just ice block and they shouldn't have ice blocked? Oh, or did this person just pop this? It's a good tracker for knowing what your enemies are doing, and it's fully customizable as far as what you even want to track. There might be stuff you don't want to track. Obviously, for Battlegrounds, the fan favorite is Battleground Targets because it tells you the enemy players in your Battlegrounds. Super important to have. It's actually a requirement for our RBGs. So you definitely want to make sure you have that. Now, what I didn't know about, this wasn't really useful for me because I use Deadly Boss Mod PvP, which if you use Deadly Boss Mod and you didn't know there's a PvP edition, you can put the PvP edition on there. But if you don't use Deadly Boss Mod or you just don't use that in general, there is an add-on called Capping BG Timer. This basically replaces what Deadly Boss Mod will do, where it'll give you a countdown on estimation for when the flag's going to cap, or Alliance is going to win, or Horde's going to win. It gives you those statistics on your screen, similar to how Deadly Boss Mod does it. So if you don't utilize that, then the Capping BG Timer is going to be the one for you. The next one up, which all these are going to be in the link down here on the YouTube channel and in the iTunes. So everything's going to be down here, and I'm also going to reiterate this on the add-on video. So Doom Cooldown Pulse. What I like about this is a cooldown tracker for yourself, or spell tracker, right? You want to know when something's going to be up to use it. I know we have cooldowns on the bar. In PvP, there's a lot going on. Now, what this does, this actually flashes the ability in front of your face. It's super opaque, so it doesn't take up a lot. Like, it's not jarring in your face. It just flashes that it's up. You get that tell right in front of your face, which is, you're not really paying attention to the bottom, right? Most of us are paying attention to what's going on. So the icon for what's off cooldown will pop, you know, opaque flash in front of you so that you know that you can use it. Super good if you're tracking, like for us warlocks that are destruction, we're tracking when our conflagrate's off recharge so that we can, you know, use it for getting our soul shards. But you can select which spells you want to pop in front of you for the tracker. So that's definitely a handy one to have. Tidy plates, really great for enemy nameplates. It's actually one of my favorites. They recently did an update to it, which it had not been updated for a little while in between there. Tidy plates has been updated. It's just a cleaner look for enemy nameplates. There's a couple different skins that you can use with it. But I definitely, if you're looking for a good enemy nameplate, I definitely recommend using that one if you don't like the one that you have. Another one, which has begun to be my new favorite. This is my new favorite one. It's called BG Defender. What this does is this is a one-click callout. It's a little box that you can move around wherever you want. You click one button and it tells you mines are okay. Lumber's okay. It does the call out for you in instance chat. If you need incoming,
does it know where you're at already?
Yes, and when you need
That's pretty
incoming, if you need to yell incoming, there's numbers you can click. If there's 4 incoming mines, and it'll automatically put it in instance chat, so you don't have to stop fighting or doing what you're doing to type that in chat. It does it for you. BG Defender, it's one-click callouts instantly.
That
at
sounds
the
really
click of a
cool.
button.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I dig
used
it.
to use that constantly until it had broken there for a while and they didn't update it. I'm glad to see that. That was essential.
It has been recently
Yeah.
updated, so we are good to go. Also, Smart Tab Target has not been updated in a year. It broke on me, and I have not been able to get it to work in PvP. Smart Tab Target basically made it where your tab target would not hit any pets, right? It would just go to enemy players only in PvP, so you didn't have to change your keybinds. Smart Tab Target has been broken. We've been requesting updates. They have not chosen to do so, but I come bearing a gift. Where I give you the problem, I will give you the solution. The solution is going to be Re-Tab Binder. Re-Tab Binder works just the same as Smart Tab Target. It will activate in PvP. It will avoid you targeting pets so that you don't have to circle through all the pets and demons to be able to get to the targets that you need. So Re-Tab Binder is going to be the name of that one, and that add-on was updated quite recently. This is going to show my baddie side, guys, but...
So many jokes coming to mind.
I can admit my shortcomings, right? Giggity. I can admit those about myself because, unlike others on the internet who don't admit their problems, who pretend they don't exist, one of my issues is my awareness when I'm tunneling, right? When I'm tunneling in PvP, I'm not focused on what's going on. I'm focused on killing you. The amount of times that I have chaos bolted a DK's anti-magic shell, infinite a hunter's deterrence too, right? Literally on the RBG team, somebody be like, Belle, did you really just chaos bolt the fucking hunter's deterrence? I sure did. Somebody said to me last season, or this was many seasons ago, why don't you download this nifty add-on that puts a thing on your screen that tells you the target you're on when they have something that's going to reflect your cast? It's called Don't Cast. It is amazing. It is beautiful. Pops up real quick, says anti-magic shell, ice block, tells you when it's counting down. You know exactly when you're going to be able to cast, which is beautiful for me being able to time. I chaos bolt exactly a second and a half before the ice block on the mage goes off, and it hits him right at the perfect time. Don't cast. It is beautiful. I'm not a baddie anymore.
It's not that bad. No, I thought we were gonna have more jokes.
No, I'm not a baddie anymore, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, Belle, I can't believe you need to use that." Some people need to, guys, and it's okay. I can use it. And
a lot of people use a lot of add-ons.
Yeah, like it helps make me better. So. But what I've noticed is it did help me learn, because some icons I didn't learn. So when I would see it on the cast bar, or when I would see it, I didn't notice. It didn't click. Now that I'm seeing it, because it actually shows the icon, gives it a countdown and all that, now it's helped me where there's been a lot of times where I don't even need the add-on. Like, I'll have already switched by the time it pops up. So, food for thought, but Don't Cast is the name of that, and it is freaking beautiful. And the last and final thing in my must-have add-ons is my very favorite one that everybody always asks me about when they see, shut up. I know what's going on right now, but I don't like it. You're making a face. Are you guys chatting?
Stop making that face.
You guys are chatting behind my back, yes?
No.
Something's going on because you all look suspicious as shit.
Someone's self-conscious.
I'm trying to breathe, so fuck off.
Yeah. Like, get out of my nose.
Okay, last but not least. Some people, like me, enjoy the killing blows. I enjoy being able to see them. Killing Blow, let me get the actual title. It's Killing Blow Enhanced. Killing Blow Enhanced, outside of doing a counter in your chat each time you do a Killing Blow and giving you your total, it also puts a beautiful shield that pops in front of you, and it says Killing Blow, and you hear the emote Killing Blow, like in the background. It's really nice, especially if you do videos, if you do PvP videos, and that's something that you want to highlight to the people that are watching. It's good to have that add-on. It's for nothing other than vanity. So
here's the problem, though.
What?
If you don't get it and I get the Killing Blow, I'm not going to be able to enjoy the sound of it saying Killing Blow because you're going to be yelling, "You stole my kill!"
I know, I do that. I get pissed off when people take it. I'm a famous Killing Blow taker because my Shadow Burn used to be a finisher, except they nerfed my Shadow Burn into the fucking ground and it's no longer a finisher, and it's whatever. It's fine. I've overcome. We are going to be okay. I'm not even sad about it. But those are Belle's recommended add-ons for PvP. I will be continuing to look into my list to see other things that I may like or dislike, and I will add them before I complete my video. All the links to them will be down here, but they are all on Curse. And if you have any questions on one of the add-ons, whether it's setup or you need help on any of these add-ons, go ahead and shoot me an email at belle@PWNCAST.net or find me doing weird things.
Have your people call my people.
Yeah, just comment to me or whatever. I'll get you taken care of. But that's going to be my PvP add-ons stuff.
You know what I have to say about that?
What?
Nothing. I can't say anything because you won't let me.
That's right. That's right.
Ooh.
No hijacking. Nope, not happening. Nobody's stealing my thunder.
Don't talk during other people's segments.
Unless...
I just stole your thunder. I announced your #1 add-on.
I know you did. God damn it. Okay.
I used it when I did arenas on my warrior, so it was great.
Lycan, what did you do during your week in WoW, sir?
Top the meters in DPS, throwing the raids. Back was hurting all week for
Boom.
carrying the rest of the DPS. It happens.
You didn't carry me. I carried my motherfucking self, along with my picnic basket.
Ran
With your
in.
legs.
Yeah, ran into whatchamacallit. I was super excited whenever they brought Frost back, just because I've been doing a lot of Frost DK now. Again, it's been my thing since Kata, or since Wrath. I was a dual-handed Frost DK tank that was back then an actual legitimate tanking spec. It was actually fun too. But it was nice to see that. Ran a bunch of mythics, did a whole bunch of world quests. Grinding out the artifact power, and it just finally got rank 5 on my artifact, research, or rank. I think it's rank 4 or 5. That it really nice when you do your daily heroic and you get 1200 artifact power from your daily heroic. Yeah, that's nice. Still can't find a stupid shadow relic. I'm still rocking a 793 shadow relic and my beautiful weapons that have
You're OP as fuck, man.
Didn't you get one for your unlocking your third trait?
I have not a shadow relic. That's a frost relic.
Oh, okay.
So I have an 840 frost relic. I have an 850 frost relic, and I have a 793.
Did you
shadow
find one
relic.
in the auction house? Because there are people that are able to craft those.
Some of them for 40,000 gold, and you're out of your mind if you think I'm paying 40 grand.
I'll see what profession needs to craft it. Maybe we could get somebody in the guild.
But even with those, they're only 805 tops, and I'm still looking. I mean, and
yeah,
I
but
need
that's
something.
over 800. It's still better than
his RNG is just bad. That's all it comes down to.
I eat like
Yeah, he'll
every
get
time
one
I've done those stupid world quests that have the relics, they're all iron relics. They never provide anything else.
Except I got a Shadow Relic world quest, and I was like, I don't even Shadow. Hello?
Don't you have a shadow relic though in your thing? Fell and shadow.
It's Fell and
So I
Fire.
thought- okay.
We're
I
not the
wasn't sure.
Shadows. That's Priesties. That's not me.
Yeah, I really, that's all I need is a shadow relic. One shadow relic and I'd be happy. And yeah, because right now I'm sticking around 852 item level. With that shadow relic, that would drop me up 30 some points in my weapon.
My RNG's
And-
been really good with my relics. My weapon's at 870.
Yeah, so I would be
But
at
I've been really-
67.
The RNG's been really good to me on that regard for the relics anyway. I don't ever get gear from dungeons ever. Mythics, I just get gold, which is fine. I don't mind gold. I'm good.
Well, next week I'll be running a lot of mythics again, just because a lot of us in the guild are going to be running mythics to DE stuff for raid stuff. And the only thing I really need out of mythics now is a relic. Everything else is either
My focus is
845
on
or 850.
the gear for the keystones. I want need because
Oh,
I ran mythics
that.
all week and
I
it
have a
didn't do me any
keystone.
good.
If anyone wants to run it tonight, by the way.
Yeah, let me know.
Oh,
I did mythic. Well, we can both go. We
well,
did
he's
an
a
8.
healer. I'm a healer. I don't have.
What did I do? 830. I'm sorry, Mythic 3. I completed this week, which was really easy. Then we went to Mythic 4, and they all had bolstering. We tried to do Mythic 4 quarters or Arcway. It did not go well.
I can barely
No,
do the original, the regular mythic. It's like a 2-hour fucking dungeon.
Mythic 4 Arcway is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's like 9 bosses.
So I'd like to see maybe an Arcway, and you only have 45 minutes to do it. The whole dungeon.
Not about that life.
So lots of stuff to do. Still, every time I log in, there's just there's no lack of content. I'm not at 110 going, okay, I've reached max. By this time last expansion, I was already leveling an alt. Right now, I get on my hunter, I play for 20 minutes. I'm going, shit, there's too much stuff to do. My DK, I'm back with my DK again. So lots of stuff to do. It's fun though.
Nice. Gemma, what about you?
Yeah, I had an awesome week in WoW, a lot of fun. I did try to balance. I talked about my hunter and then my monk. I put the hunter away. I have to. I'm just selling the champions off. But I did more on my monk, obviously my main, and I had the pleasure of running my first guild. Look at Lycan smiling like I'm going to talk about him. My first guild mythic dungeon with the raid, actually with Belle. We'll put those away for later. I'm going to mention you. Relax. I had fun
With the
with the
PvE
guild.
baddie? The PvE baddie?
Yeah, who, me or you? Yeah.
Me.
Well, I was. It was funny because you guys were looking for a healer, and I'm like, I'll come, and no one was really listening. I'm like, they either don't want me to come, or
I did not want you to come.
Yeah, you guys, right. I was a little under geared, but it went well. Cash, Sodalicious, excuse me, and Big Dom. So we did have some.
It's not because he was bad. He's not a bad healer. I just didn't. Sometimes certain parts of the day,
business and pleasure.
No, it's sometimes in certain parts of the day I know where Jim's focus is, or I know where he can't focus for certain reasons, and I just did not want to fight through that.
Were you
no, I was, and actually, I'm a lot more geared since then, and I had a lot of fun. So shout out to the guild, Cash, Soda, and Big Dom, and Lycan had his hands up because he thought I'd mention him as well. I did some arena with him the other day. I had a lot of fun. We were looking to really see. Do we get a box for our first arena win, which we do, and then we get our battleground win, and we got a skirmish win. So if he's free after the show, I'd like to have a date with him and do that again.
You're gonna have to buy him dinner because he doesn't.
That's all right. He's cheap. He doesn't like the expensive stuff. So I had a blast. I mean, I did those.
Dollar bill works.
Yeah, I've been cutting out the fast food. I'm feeling great these days. No way. But yeah, so I mean, just some stuff with the guild, and then I got an 860 cloak off the world boss and chained that bad boy right away, which was good. So I'm getting more manlier with my item level. It's still a little wimpy, and sometimes I try to be so cool, Jim of Banks, and sometimes I just want to be Jim. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to do these pep battle videos. You're trying to enjoy the expansion, and I literally was the time in between each video was kind of getting long, a couple days, and I was sitting on all this content. And I'm trying to work overtime for extra monies at BlizzCon, blah, blah. I know.
Hookers are expensive, Jim.
So is the blow.
Mine are free.
Well, I got a discount on the blow. We good about that. But the hookers, I can't discount that for you. So.
As long as they're generous, right? But, I just, sometimes with Jim, he just wants to...
Buy one, get one free? Is that what you're referring to as generous?
That's stuff that you guys are talking about. I'm a clean young man.
Oh, man. That made me cough. That was bad.
But I was sitting on all this content and I wanted to get it out there. So I did do what most people don't recommend, is I uploaded them without commentary. I uploaded about 7 strategies, but then I made sure to finalize with the last video I uploaded with Lillidan with some commentary. So it's tough because you want to create this content for the people, but I don't want to do these BS guides, and I don't always have time to add the commentary because I'm trying to work, enjoy WoW, or do other activities in RL. So I don't know why I brought that up. I guess I sound like a wiener, like I'm complaining, but the expansion's so good, and I'm trying to enjoy the content and level up my item level, but also get some of this content out. So sometimes it's hard being Jim of Banks, Secret Sauce, Belle, or Lycan, and we just want to be Jim or whatever else. So I'm having a blast with the expansion. I guess the whole purpose was to talk about that, and we've got some new content on the channel, but yeah, I love the expansion so far. It's a lot of fun.
It cracks me up that you're so careful not to use their slave names anymore that you didn't even try to...
Yeah, I just cut it off.
You just cut it off.
I always mess up David's. We're homies, and I just always say it. So, Secret, what did you do in your week in WoW?
Wow, hello?
Wow. Stole your thunder.
Wow.
Storm still got lots of thunder.
I hate you.
Week in WoW is kind of cut short since my work kind of owns me right now for probably till January, so it's going to be kind of rough. Emerald Nightmare, tried that. Sick, don't do it. Ran a couple mythics, World Quest, World Boss, Gold, fantastic, best stuff ever.
Yeah.
Still trinketless, or actual good trinkets, but I mean, I don't know. Just thinking about leveling it all already.
Really?
For guild reasons. For guild reasons. That's why. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what compositions get played out for the raid team and stuff like that, and go from there. That's really it.
Nice.
The problem is when you get kicked off the raid team by the raid leader, and you're the raid leader, you might want to roll an ult.
Oh, I know, right? That's kind of what almost happened the other night.
So are you just saying that because the guild might not need another healer, or you feel that you'll be a class that would just benefit the raid more?
I mean, either way, I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I play several classes really well.
Right.
And
he does.
I can help
He's very
out.
versatile in that regard. It's annoying.
Yeah, Belle said we need a tank. Cool, I got a tank. We need a healer. I have secret. We need DPS. We need someone for interrupts. Boom. I mean, it is what it is. I do what is best for the guild, and it's always been that way, even in previous guilds. So that's how Secret Sauce was created. We needed a holy priest. Got you. I'll do it. And that's how 10 years later that Secret Sauce still is there. But that's just something I'm thinking about right now. We'll see how it goes in the next couple of weeks, what it really comes down to with all the raiders and stuff like that. But hopefully next week's better. I should be well by Thursday, and we'll just see how Sunday and Monday play out for my new week in WoW. So
Keep drinking that lean, you'll feel better.
Whoa.
I already popped the lid, so it's ready to go.
So my week.
Belle, what did you do in week?
Yes, Jaina, what did you do this week?
Not Jaina. My husband's been calling me Storm, and he's
Yeah.
like, "You gonna throw lightning bolts at me?" Her yuck, you're so funny.
He is.
He is a funny fucker.
You could have said, yeah. I could.
Whoa, leave that part out of the show.
know.
Relax.
Could have said you could
This
throw
is the
soulfire at him, but
wrong channel. This is not Pooncast.
For
Pooncast
those
Dark.
watching the show and seeing the hair, I'm going to just address it because tons of you are going to ask me about it on the YouTube channel. I'm stepping into a specific hair color, so I had to I have to process it out in stepping so that I don't ruin my hair. My ultimate end game is going to be very dark silver hair. So that's my ultimate end game. I had to step it in a process.
You're gonna look like fucking Jaina.
So I'm going to no, I'm not going to look like Jaina. No. Silver and white are not the same hair color, people.
I still think you ought to go.
Silver
Go
and
felt
white
green.
are not the same hair color. So
I wish you could push the button.
it's going to be dark by the time I'm done with it. It's going to be dark silver, but I had to step through the process, and part of that was going back to my natural hair color, which is a version of this. It's not this white naturally, but it is a version of this blonde. So just because I don't want to make the tons of comments on the YouTube to be about why is your hair this color, I just felt like I would address it. I'm digging it. I haven't been light haired for at least 15 years, so I'm excited that it's this color. Anyway, moving
Real
on.
quick,
Couple more years, it'll be permanent.
Belle. You know what's really funny? When you go silver, you'll be the same hair color as me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
no.
the reality is I'm blonde naturally, so when I get old, I'm going to have white hair regardless, because when you're blonde, you get white. I am
Yes.
old as fuck. So it's going to happen. I might as well just embrace it. Anyway, so
I can't wait. Salt and pepper all day.
my week in WoW consisted of a lot of world quests. I log in every day and I do all of my world quests. I literally have been doing every single freaking world quest that's humanly possible, but that's not really what my focus is, guys. You already know where my focus is every day when I log in, and that's the fan favorite, Suramar. My end game goal is to get that Good Samaritan, get that shit knocked out, do the next 9 quest lines that they're bringing in for 7.1. I want to be the fucking Suramar master because I love that city. So I'm almost 8k into Revered, which is what I need to unlock the last 2 quest lines there. But every day that grind is in Suramar. Literally, everybody's like, so I guess you just live there now. Yeah, yep. My heart's here. I literally live there.
I see everybody in there.
I love Suramar. Literally, it is bar none my favorite place in all of World of Warcraft. I never thought that would be a thing because if you guys remember, Storm Peaks and Grizzly Hills was my previous love, but I just love everything.
Get down right
so
there.
that's what I've been doing, and I've been doing a lot of I fully geared. I've been doing mythic dungeons and that kind of thing, but I fully geared through world quests. That's where I'm literally 845 item level, and I did all of that through world quests. I think I got maybe a piece or two from.
Fantastic.
Well, I think a couple of those pieces may have dropped from a dungeon, but right now when we run mythics, I can't use anything that drops because I'm out geared for it. So, which I could think of worse problems, but I don't have a lot of time.
I need to run them
so,
then because you can give it to me.
well, I don't have a lot of time to do stuff in game.
She just blew you
so-
off.
No, I didn't. I would totally.
She's probably like, I can't game with you. I'm dyeing my hair.
You're so stupid. This is not hair dye. I did not dye my hair.
Oh.
This is toner. It's very different. I didn't dye it. I toned it. This is not like a
Yeah.
box of hair dye. It's toner. Anyway.
Oh.
I just wanted you to know like it wasn't hair dye. It was toner. Anyway. You guys are men. You guys don't know anything about that. If you did, you would be a different kind of man. So glad that you know.
Hey.
Do you really think I'd dye my hair?
You sure do.
So
That's why it all fell off.
I did more PvP. My focus this next week is going to be some more PvP so I can have some things to talk about. My focus is going to be talking about melee and cloth, or melee and ranged, and what it looks like in PvP, and some of the good opposing compositions with those two. I'm going to kind of really go in there. I'm going to get a lot of video footage for me to kind of articulate later into a really nice PvP segment next week about that in Belle's Bite. So I'm going to kind of use that for my theory crafting this week, because this comes on the cusp of us doing RBG tryouts in the next, we're doing those in the first week of October. So gearing myself up for that, which is going to be really nice and exciting. So yeah, I'm super happy to be doing all those things. But we reached a milestone with PWNCAST this month, and I wanted to talk about that milestone because it involves 90% of our listeners, because our viewership is not on YouTube. That's never been where our majority of our listeners and our watchers have been. The most of it has always been on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, things like that. This month, and it's not even, we still have this episode to upload by the time you guys are listening to it, we passed 17,000 downloads on iTunes this month. Now, we had been stuck at the 15K for like a year, right? We'd been doing 15 or just under 15K, like we had been swapping back and forth. And we couldn't pass it. Last month I was like, we're going to pass it. And we sure the fuck didn't. And I was really frustrated. Then today a couple days ago, we passed 16,000, and then we just passed 17,000. Now that's not like 1,500, 1,600. That's 17,000 downloads this month, which, okay, let's be honest, that splits out over the episodes, right? So that's, what did I say? 17K? We're at 17,000. So that's an average of just under 6,000 per episode of downloads. So our average is between 5,000 and 6,000 per episode. That's 5,000 or 6,000 people that are downloading us, that are listening to us, plus the 2,000-3,000 we get per episode view. You're all out there. There's people that are out there, and I love all of you. And I just wanted to thank each and every one of you.
We out here.
For every like, for every comment, for every share, for every download, for every view, for every single one of you that even give us 5 minutes of your time to let us give you bad jokes and probably poor entertainment and maybe mediocre gameplay. We don't really know.
Drinking water.
Speak for yourself, Belle.
Right, with our tech issues, our audio issues, the whole nine.
Yeah,
it's been an amazing 127 episode journey, and I just wanted to thank you guys. That milestone was a personal goal that I had for us, so I was really happy that we passed that. We overshot it, and we'll probably, I'm hoping we'll get to maybe 18. The way the numbers are, we're probably going to get to 20 this month. So
let's get to that 20K mark.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody. And for those of you that listen on iTunes or that listen to the podcast where I don't get to see your comments on the show, send me an email. Tell me when you started listening. Just flood bell@pwncast.net with emails and tell me how you came to listen to us. Tell me your story. What do you play? We want to know about you. And I'll pick some of them and I'll read them next episode. But email bell@pwncast.net and send me love if you're audio only. I want to know who you guys are. I want to get to know you on the YouTube. We get to know you guys every week when you guys comment and you interact with us. But the audio only, I feel like we don't get to know you. Tell me what's in your fridge, guys. Do you have chocolate in your fridge? Is there
Bags
milk?
of milk.
They probably have tacos.
Like, tell me, how do you like your cheeseburger? How do you like your eggs in the morning? Let's get to know you. Don't make this
That's
weird,
getting
guys.
kinda personal.
Don't make this weird.
Oh.
So I just wanted to acknowledge and I wanted to thank everybody for that because that made me super happy this week. They like us. Some of them
They do. Well, we do better on the iTunes, I would think, or the audio, because we've all got faces for radio, right? So it's easier to just listen than see us.
Video did kill the radio stars, so I don't know if that's that's bad.
I love that song.
No, it's not. That's pretty good. I like it.
So, with that being said, we are coming to the end of our evening. And make sure you guys go to PWNCASTDailyQuest.com and see what we got going on over there. We're looking for writers. We're looking for news writers for World of Warcraft. We're also looking for writers for all the other games with the exception of Overwatch because we have that covered. But I do need Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, and Diablo. So if anybody out there listening on the radio waves or watching would like to be a news writer for the PDQ, go ahead and hit me up, send me an application. There's go to the pdq.com, scroll to the bottom right, and you will see the do you want to be a part of our staff. Feel free to go come and apply and let's do things together. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We had a great episode. I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of freaked out right now, to be perfectly honest. What are you guys doing?
When the credits roll, I'll tell you.
Oh, jeez. I feel like a screenshot and a Photoshop just happened in my...
No.
No.
Okay.
You're
But
fine.
we are going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. Don't forget, if you're an iTunes listener, send me an email, bell@PWNCAST.net, and tell me all about yourself. I want to get to know who you are. But he's going to go take medication. Lycan's probably going to take a nap. Jimma's going to go lumberjack things. He's going to go do lumberjack things. And I'm actually going to go... I have a date with some friends online, in-game, doing things. So,
Jimmy, you got Sprite ready, right?
well, that's weird. We're going to go ahead and get on out of here, guys. Thank you so much for giving us your hour and a half every week. It is an honor to entertain you. We're going to get out of here. Bye.
All week.
All
right.
Talk about
So you want to know how I like my eggs?
No, I don't want to know how you like your eggs.
You know how I like my eggs in the morning? Fertilized, baby.
Oh, that's so gross. Did you say that in chat and that's why you guys were laughing? That's so
there's an old joke that the guy says, how do you like your eggs in the morning, scrambled or fertilized?
That's so nasty.
It really is.
Ew. Would that be considered organic? No. Okay, you guys can talk about fertile eggs, but I can't talk about organic.
You went too far.
Fuck you.
You crossed that damn line.